Multi-level corruption that you were looking at. So while you were in the World Bank and you're seeing this multi-level corruption going on, did anybody offer you a hand in the Ponzi scheme?
Well, it's only relatively recently that people have started offering me anything. And every time that happens, it's not that I'm uncorruptible, it's that I have a big mouth. And so they'll offer me something that, sort of looks attractive, but before I know it, I'm telling somebody else about the fact that I've been offered this incredible bribe. And so it just doesn't work.
Right. Well,
and you have to also recognize what happened to the presidents that didn't want this Federal Reserve System to go forward. Let me explain how it works, okay? If you have the Treasury Department that's issuing the currency, then you don't have to pay interest on it. But if you have the Treasury Department issue a promissory note to the Federal Reserve, and the Federal Reserve then issues the currency, then this note that the Treasury Department issued, there's interest on it. And that's how the debt every year gets bigger and bigger, because we're going to be spending more money than we're taking in. And let me tell you how the tax payments work.
Okay.
This I couldn't believe in the beginning, but it's absolutely true. When you fill out your taxes and you send a check one place and you send the tax form another place, the check that you send goes directly to the Federal Reserve, and they take that check and they send it to the United Kingdom, and the UK keeps, not the government, the UK banksters keep 40%, and then they send 60% onto the Jesuits in the Vatican. That's what's happening to our tax dollars.
Wow.
Now, how are we financing our government? We're selling drugs. We're selling the drugs that we grow in Afghanistan. We never had any poppies there until the war in Afghanistan. You think with all the satellites flying over, they couldn't see where the poppy fields are? No, that's how we earn our money.
Wow.
How does that grab you? Is that a good arrangement?
Wow.
No, it's not a good arrangement.
I tell you, Director Deutsch, as a former Los Angeles Police narcotics detective, that the agency has dealt drugs throughout this country for a long time. Director Deutsch, I will refer you to three specific agency operations known as Amadeus, Pegasus, and Watchtower. I have Watchtower documents heavily redacted by the agency. I was personally exposed to CIA operations and recruited by CIA personnel who attempted to recruit me in the late 70s to become involved in protecting agency drug operations in this country. For the record, my name is Mike Ruppert, R-U-P-P-E-R-T. I did bring this information out 18 years ago, and I got shot at and forced out of LAPD because of it. I've been on the record for 18 years nonstop, and I'll be happy to give you, Congressman, anything that I have.
This is where the money is going.
Well, I have a copy of the Inspector General Act here in front of me, and it says, among other things, that it's your responsibility to conduct and supervise audits and investigations relating to the programs and operations of your agency.
That's correct.
So I'm asking you if your agency has, in fact, according to Bloomberg, extended $9 trillion in credit, which, by the way, works out to $30,000 to every single man, woman, and child in this country. I'd like to know, if you're not responsible for investigating that, who is?
At this point, we're conducting our lending facility project at a fairly high level and have not gotten to a specific level of detail to really be in a position to respond to your question.
Have you conducted any investigation or auditing of the losses that the Federal Reserve has experienced on its lending since last September?
We're still in the process of conducting that review. Until we actually, go out and gather the information, I'm not in a position to really respond to the specific question.
So are you telling me that nobody at the Federal Reserve is keeping track on a regular basis of the losses that it incurs on what is now a $2 trillion portfolio?
Until we actually look at the program and have the information, we're not in a position to say whether there are losses or to respond in any other way to that.
Mr. Chairman, my time is up, but I have to tell you honestly, I am shocked to find out that nobody at the Federal Reserve, including the Inspector General, is keeping track of this.
One of the things I learned as an FBI agent is it's not that I learned to believe in conspiracies more. What I learned to know is when I am caught up in a river of deception and everybody else around me is being taken on the same current and we're all being taken in one direction and suddenly one guy has to stick his head up and say, this isn't right. This is all wrong. We're all just being fed garbage and we're not being told the truth. Well, how is it that technology, today's age, our technology has moved forward by leaps and bounds in so many areas, yet we're still driving, the entire world is still driving automobiles that function essentially on the same technology that they have for 100 years. 100 years, and we're still using fossil fuels to fill up our gas tanks. How is that possible? That has not moved forward hardly one iota. I mean, they blend the stuff sometimes, but I mean, essentially, technology has been stuck for 100 years. Well, that's because that's one of the economic factors from the globalists that is so dead set against distributing real energy, which is free energy, which we know was discovered during Tesla's time.